I've learned that taking responsibility doesn't always mean we know how to stop punishing ourselves. Today, I want to talk about what happens when resilience quietly turns into self denial. Let's pause a moment for the sponsor of this episode. And while we're here, I just want to say thank you for listening and for walking this journey with me. If you haven't already, be sure to follow the show on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Your support means more than you know. Ken Wold Training Stables and Stallion Services is located in Wilton, California, and specializes in reined cow horses from breeding and training to showing at the highest level. With decades of experience in performance horse training and development, their program is built on proven methods, individual attention, and results you can trust. They're proud to stand two exceptional stallions, Metallic Slayer and Raisin Stylish Cash, offering top quality bloodlines, athleticism, and strong minds for today's competitive programs and tomorrow's champions. Whether you're looking for professional training, breeding services, or guidance in building your program, they're available to help every step of the way. Visit them online at kenwold.com to learn more or get in touch. Kenwold Training Stables and Stallion Services, where dedication, quality, and performance come together. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Trainer's Wife. If you've been listening to this miniseries from the beginning, here's where we are. In episode 1, I talked about resilience and permission, about how many of us are incredibly practiced at enduring, but not very practiced at asking what we're allowed to want. In episode 2, I talked about receiving, about how sometimes the hardest part isn't naming what we want, but letting ourselves receive something good once we've named it. Today, I want to talk about what I think often sits underneath both of those things. Punishment. Not the obvious kind, not punishment that comes from other people, but the quiet, internal kind, the kind we assign to ourselves. Here's what I've been noticing in my own life. I'm very comfortable with responsibility and accountability. I'm comfortable owning my own choices. What I'm less comfortable with? Releasing the idea that I need to keep paying for choices that were uncomfortable for others, or that even I had to make, but made me uncomfortable. For a long time, I didn't really question it. I just thought if I was still carrying the weight of those choices, still working harder, still sacrificing, still denying myself, that meant I was doing the right thing. Somehow, self denial equaled integrity. But recently, I realized this wasn't just about resilience or permission. Because resilience can quietly turn into punishment when it's no longer chosen, when it becomes automatic. For me, this showed up in a very real way just this week. I had every intention of releasing this episode on time. I had worked on it, I had prepared and planned. And then technology happened. Things didn't work, files didn't cooperate, processes broke down, and suddenly something I cared deeply about wasn't ready. The old me would have gone straight to punishment. I would have told myself, you should have figured this out. You're behind. You're letting people down. Why can't you just freaking get it together? And I could feel that voice starting to show up. But this time, I did something different. Instead of attacking myself, I paused. I took a deep breath, or several, and then I gave myself permission to be human. I posted honestly on social media and explained my situation. I asked for patience, and I let myself receive support. What came back surprised me. So many of you reached out with kindness, with encouragement, with understanding, and offered so much grace. There was no judgment, no pressure, no disappointment, just support. And it made me realize something. A lot of the punishment I carry isn't coming from other people, it's coming from me. I'm the one who keeps the sentence going. I'm the one who keeps raising that bar. I'm the one who decides I haven't paid enough yet. And this week showed me I don't have to live like that. When I looked honestly at my life, I realized I had learned from the things I carry. I've grown, I've changed, and I've become more thoughtful, careful, and aware. And yet, I notice that I still live as if I need to keep proving something. So I'm working on that. It's important to me to notice where punishment shows up quietly. And I hear myself saying things like, I shouldn't want that yet. I need to be careful so nobody misunderstands me. It's safer to stay a little removed than risk being judged. None of that sounds harsh on the surface, but over time, I think it's kept my life really small. Here's the shift that's happening for me. I'm learning that growth looks less like self denial and more like self honesty. Less like punishment, more like alignment. Less like proving, more like choosing. This has changed how I think about the work I'm building. I've been hosting the podcast for almost a year, and I can feel myself ready to step into something new, something that's meaningful to me and to the women I serve. Finding Center Retreats. My retreats won't be about escape. They will not be indulgent or about avoiding real life. They will be about integration, about giving women a place to reflect, reconnect, tell the truth to themselves, and return to their lives with clarity instead of depletion. None of those things come from punishment. They come from permission. And here's something I want to say clearly, because I think many women need to hear it. Nothing disqualifies you from a meaningful life once you've learned from it. I don't know who said that first. I just know it's true. If you're listening and you recognize yourself in this, if you've been strong and responsible for a long time, maybe this is your invitation. Not to change anything, not to fix yourself, not to stop being resilient, but to ask one honest question. Where am I still punishing myself? You don't have to answer it today. Just notice it. Because when punishment loosens its grip, something else becomes possible. Receiving doesn't feel as threatening. Permission doesn't feel selfish. And resilience becomes something you choose, not something that owns you. If this episode reminds you of someone who's been carrying responsibility for a long time, someone who might still be punishing themselves quietly, consider sharing it with them. You never know how it might land. Until then, notice where you're still being hard on yourself. Notice where responsibility has quietly turned into self-denial. And if it feels right, practice one small release. Not to let yourself off the hook, but to let yourself move forward. Before I go, one quick note. I'm not a therapist, a counselor, or a coach. I'm simply sharing my experience and what I'm learning in real time. Thank you for tuning in to The Trainer's Wife. See you next time.